Welcome back to PyCode. This is Arnav Shukla, and today you will be learning tuples. So, what is a tuple? A tuple is a sequence of values which can be of any type and they are indexed by integers. They are just like list, but they're immutable data types. Hence, we can't change their values. Now, the index value of a tuple starts from 0 and they're separated by commas. So, one example is right here 10, 20, 30, 40 are separated by commas, and these curly brackets are called as tuples. They're used to show tuples. Now, creating empty tuples. One way of creating it is just by putting typecasting it or just writing tuple right here. What are the ways to access a tuple? So since they can be indexed, we can specify the index value, which is 1 here, which corresponds to banana. Hence banana gets printed as the output. So that is one way indexing is used to access the tuple. Now we can also access the tuples using loops. So we can just say for x in fruits, we're printing x. So that we're basically just printing individual values or characters from the tuple called fruit. And we get the outputs individually as apple, banana, and cherry. Now, how do we check if the item exists in the tuple? Well, we can check that by just simply, let's say the tuple, inside the tuple, we have different strings, apple, banana, cherry. Now, if the apple is in the tuple called fruit, then we print yes. So that is how we can check if the item exists in the tuple or not. Let's talk about the tuple length. Now, we can simply print the length of the tuple called fruit to actually print the length, which will be 3 in this case. Now, how do we remove a tuple? We can remove a tuple, we cannot remove a tuple because they are immutable. So they are also unchangeable and we can't remove them. But it's possible to delete the tuple completely. What are the different tuple methods? Now, Python provides two built-in methods that we can use on tuples. One is called the count method and the other is called the index method. Now, the count method returns the number of times the value appears in the tuple. Let's say we had the tuple called fruit, apple, banana, and cherry, and we print we count the number of times banana appears here. So the count method returns total number of times banana presents in the given tuple. The index method is used to index over the values or where banana is located in this tuple, which will be at the index value of 1. What is the difference between a list and a tuple? Now, this is clearly demonstrated through the above table. Now, the syntax for a list is slightly different. What we do is we just use these square brackets to declare a list. On the other hand, we use curly brackets to declare a tuple, and their classes are shown differently. This is what I just talked about. They can be edited and they're mutable data types, while tuples cannot be edited and they're immutable data types. Now, there are a lot of methods or functions which are associated with list, but there are less methods compared to list which are associated with tuples. What is the difference between a tuple and a dictionary? Now, in a tuple, the order is maintained, while in a dictionary, the ordering is not guaranteed. Dictionary is mutable, meaning that the values in a dictionary can be changed, while in a tuple, they are immutable. The tuples can hold any value and types can be mixed, while every entry has a key and a value in a dictionary. Elements are accessed via numeric zero-based indices, while in a dictionary elements are accessed using keys values. There are differences in syntax and looks easy to define tuples, but the dictionary differs in syntax and looks a bit complicated when compared with tuples or lists. Now, some assignment questions are below. Try solving them on your own by pausing the video and hiding the solution. Let's say you want to create an empty tuple. You Now coming to discussing the solution. So we just print x, and then when we check the tuple type, and we can basically do that by typecasting or using declaring another variable called tuple. We can create a tuple with different data types uh, by just putting, like, strings, or let's say true false boolean values, float, integers, etc. inside the tuple. We can unpack a tuple in several ways. One way is to unpack a tuple is basically by firstly defining the tuple, let's say 4, 8, 3. And then we use different variables such as n1, n2, n3, and we print n1 plus n2 plus n3. But an important point to note here is that the number of variables must be equal to the number of items of the tuple. So these three must be equal. Since there are three here, so three also must be here, else it will give an error. So let's say we have to write a program to find the index of the item. We can just write index equal to tuple.index of p. So it prints the index of that letter. How would we add an item to the tuple? Well, it's an interesting question since tuples are immutable data types, so we cannot add new elements. We can merge tuples with the plus operator to add an element, and it will create a new tuple. So what we do is we write the initial tuple equal to tuple plus the new number which we want to add. Notice that inside the tuple, before the before after the letter, or rather the number has to be entered, we add a comma. That is the way to add an item to a tuple. Now these are some homeworks which you can or programs which you can run at your end. Let's say we want to write a Python program to convert a tuple to a string. How will we do that? We want to get the fourth element and the fourth element from the last. That can also be done using indexing, just a small hint. And to find the repeated items of a tuple, that also you can find by individually accessing the character. And we can also check whether an element exists within a tuple. And this all has been discussed in the above video. I hope you enjoyed and got to learn something new from this video. Do write down in the comment section below, and I hope you got to learn something new. Thank you.